notch. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Wes and Mike TZ coming all strong.
And we are live, and welcome to the conference call. My name is Chris Edwards, one of your co-hosts, and my other two co-hosts are joining me tonight, TJ and Rex. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey.
Why you sound like Swamp
Okay.
Thing?
I'm fine.
Wow.
Jesus. Well, I'm better than that, thankfully.
Okay, good. It's Thursday, March 6th. It's 9 p.m. and it's time for another edition of the conference call. Tonight we got another great show for you. Tonight we're talking about travel, and the title for today is Stories to Remember, Out of Town Edition. So I think this is going to be a fun topic. I think we all have great travel stories and how we got interested in travel. So let's just jump into it and get started. And I don't even mind. I'll start this one if you guys want me to.
Child, yes, you're gonna have to start it and finish it because we know you got all this. You done been here, there.
I mean, you have more time to travel than everybody else.
Hello.
No, you know what? I think I was a nomad in another life. Oh. I just wandered the globe.
My God. Not a nomad, not a vagabond, not just all over the place.
Yeah, but I walked with my camera though.
Yeah. You did what?
So I said I walked with my camera though.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have a picture, it didn't happen. Is that what they say?
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
Yeah.
All right then. All right. So for me, the love of travel started after a significant life event, a loss in my family. And one day I just decided I wanted to do something different. I got an email, just like a junk email for some travel company. And it was like, go to Thailand for like 10 days and change your life. And I was like, okay. And I literally, I looked at it, I put it down, and I went back to it a week later. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go. I booked it right there on the spot. It was actually relatively inexpensive. I think it was like under $2,000 for 10 days of travel. It included hotel, some of your meals, and airfare, and all the different because you're grouped with like a tour group, like, and it's from people from all over the world. So you didn't know who you were going to meet up with and where they were from. Got on this plane, traveled halfway around the world, and had an adventure for 10 days in Thailand. I was in I can't remember the capital of Thailand now. Oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting it. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, I was in
Google.
Bangkok, Thailand, and then also in Phuket. It was a life-changing trip for me.
What?
It was the first time. Yeah, it was a life-changing.
What changed?
Everything. That's where I went to get the surgery.
That's why you came back a new man.
No, I didn't. No, but in all seriousness, it was like that's where I got the travel bug and found my true passion for travel, exploration. And I think even it gave me the love of photography back. Like I remember I put my camera down for quite a few years, just discouraged with having to work with people and then them not valuing what you were doing and not wanting to pay you. And I just put it down and I was just like, I was kind of over it. But going on that trip just really allowed me to just like open my eyes up again. And then also see life from a different perspective. You know, I made some really good friends on the trip. Didn't know anybody. We all showed up in the airport. We had the tour guide that was holding up the sign, and we all just kind of met there. People from all over, from Europe, other parts of Asia, Canada, South America, and the one thing that everyone had in common was that this was an adventure of a lifetime for them, and we made the most of it.
What do you remember most about going?
Right, because I'm waiting on the story chat because I know there is one.
I want to know what happened.
Hello.
No, well, I mean, it wasn't anything like exceptional. It was just, I think it was just the experience of meeting new people from different places and really understanding that everyone's pretty much the same wherever you go in this world. They want basic things. They want to be happy. They want to take care of their families, and they just want to be able to learn about other cultures. You know, we went to a few like historical places in Thailand, but I think for me, what it was probably one of the best parts was the food. Like I've been always a lover of Asian culture and Asian food, but to be able to go to Thailand and experience the authentic foods there and watch them make it with the ingredients and just having that experience of eating with other people and like even like some of the other delicacies that I've loved, from like my home country of Jamaica. So like fruits are very big there. And one of the big things, I'm a big mango lover. And like how they eat their mangoes are very different than the way we eat them. But to have that experience of eating those foods and trying it the way that they prepare it, like opened my eyes. Like, oh, okay, I didn't even realize you could do all these things and you can eat foods this type of way. But it was just an amazing experience. And like I said, we were in Bangkok for half the trip, and then we went to Phuket, which is considered a vacation. One of the vacation islands outside of mainland Thailand. And the experience there is it's much different. It gives you more of like the resort type of feel, whereas Bangkok was very much city life, like, Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens all rolled up into one. It's very densely packed. The one thing I will say about that trip, and you realize, you see it on TV, but you don't realize until you go there, the smog is lethal. Like you look out your window from the hotel and you can't see anything. You can't see the sun. All you see is like a little dot. Because the smog is really just that thick. But everything about Thailand, and then because of that trip, it just made me want to go other places. So that for me, like that's the most significant trip, the most life impactful trip. And that's the one that kind of like that's the bar was set on that particular trip.
So would you go back?
Absolutely, in a heartbeat.
Right.
I would love, especially now that I've traveled to other places, I would love to go back and look at it through a different lens. When I went there before, I think I was for lack of a better word, naive in how I went through Thailand. I really went through as a tourist. Whereas when I've gone to other places, even though I'm a tourist and a foreigner in this land, I don't walk through those spaces as a tourist. Whereas I did for that first trip. But yeah, I would definitely go back. That's one. That
was your first time out of the country?
No.
Out of which country?
Oh.
No, remember I wasn't born here.
But that wasn't your first time traveling out, like
no.
Okay.
I've been to a lot of Caribbean islands, been to Canada and stuff like that. And even as a little kid, we used to travel all the time. So, so yeah, that wasn't, but that was like my first big solo trip by myself. Like saying, you know what, I'm gonna have an adventure. Get on a plane with no one that I knew, and travel for what I think it was 19 hours, because we flew to China to Beijing, and then you have to transfer from Beijing to go to Thailand. It was a super long trip. Like literally, you're traveling for literally about a day.
Yeah.
Did you go to the red light district?
So listen, a group of us, we were in
Look at TJ.
Bangkok. We were in Bangkok, and we wanted to do the full experience. Like, people that have never been, just met. We went to the red light district. We went to the ping pong show, as they call them. The girly boy show. It was an experience. But I mean,
we're not going to skirt over that. We're gonna need to. The people need to know what's the ping pong show, what's the girly boy show. How you just don't? He just talked for 15 minutes about Thailand. We went to the ping pong show.
Exactly. He skipped the best part of the travel brochure.
If you don't know what the girly boy show is, it's basically transgender men that are half woman, half man, basically. Those type of like it's like like going to a strip club, that type of experience. And the thing about it is, the nice thing about going with these people was it was a great mix of people. It was like married couples, single people, guys, girls. We all just went to experience it. You hear about it, you want to go and see it. And the ping pongs, yes, the ping pongs are shot from everywhere. From the orifice. So yeah.
That's why the passport bros keep going over there.
Who?
Who? The passport bros.
Oh, the passport.
He's an expert, so he.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, everything, entertainment, food. I had a fish pedicure when I was there.
Oh, where they eat the
when
skin.
they nibble.
Yes.
How was that?
So I did not want to do it, but there was a bunch of us in our group that we went. We said, all right, we wanted to experience things that are different, and we're going to all do it together. So we all agreed to do it together. I hesitated, but I did it anyway. It's very weird. Like it feels like someone's tickling you, but then it doesn't hurt because literally what they're doing is they're nibbling away at dead skin. So if you have really bad feet and you don't take care of them and you got a lot of dead skin, they swarm to you. So when because you do it in groups, they have like different things on the floor where you just put your foot in, and they tell you, if they swarm to you, that means you've got a lot of dead skin. There was this one guy, like all the fish just like piranhas. Like, dude. Luckily, I had a pedicure before I went on this trip, so mine weren't that bad.
Wow.
But yeah, pedicures. We went to all the temples. What else? We went to some rice fields. Oh, what was a great experience too? They have 7-Eleven is huge in Thailand, which kind of like blew my mind.
Interesting.
But when you go into those 7-Elevens, like when you go to like get snacks, like the chips and stuff like that, the flavors are very different. They're very centric to Thailand, like their types of stuff. Like you have like shrimp flavored chips. You've got like different types of like what we call like cheese tricks or cheese doodles.
Cheese
and how
trick.
ours are like cheese. Yeah, but they don't have.
That's also
so
part
Jamaica,
of the ping pong show.
No, so in Jamaica we call them cheese tricks, like the little. What do you have like? What do you call Cheetos here? We call them cheese tricks in Jamaica. But like the cheese puffs and cheese trick stuff, they have different flavored stuff. What was that sound?
We don't have to ban him from the sound effects.
Yes.
Yes. And they be so random.
But it was an experience, and definitely I would do it again. But enough about me. Let's go to someone else.
Go for it,
Reginald.
Where's the first place? My story is not inspirational and life altering like Chris. My stories are always terrible. I'm one of those people who like love to travel. Like I love to go places, but like getting there is like always.
God. Is it an adventure?
I'm scared.
Yes, it is. Like, first of all, flying fat is no fun. Just saying. Right. Yeah. So I remember my first time like going to London. I got on the plane and I flew on Virgin, so it was really nice. I had like that wasn't so bad, right? So I got to lay down on the little seat or whatever. I'm always like super anxious when I get on planes, but so I took like this pill. And before we took off, that I was just like unconscious. And when I was
Xanax.
Yeah, and when I woke up again, we were in London. But like I had gone as part of a school trip, and so they had us living in like this hostel or whatever. Oh, bro, that shit was so small. It was terrible. It was like 15 square feet. Like I walked in there and I rolled my bag in, and then I couldn't go any further. And like I remember like trying
It is literally for sleeping only. That's all you're gonna do in that room.
It felt like they had the bed like leaned up against the wall or something. Like you couldn't like lay completely flat, like
at a 45-degree angle.
Yes. Exactly. Like, and so I remember like going in, setting my stuff down on the diagonal bed. And I was like, I gotta take a bath because like it's terrible. I'm hot. It was summer. It rained on me on the way to the place. And I go into the shower. I'm like, okay, at least the shower is a good size because you walk into like this room and it looks like a decent sized room or whatever. It was this crusty ass corner hidden by a shower curtain. I go in and like I literally had to like shower like this. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't, yeah. So the sites were fantastic. I was very impressed with like some of the walking tours that we did or whatever. We got to go to where Jane Austen lived, and like there's a tour and it's like a historical thing or whatever. Basically, first of all, I'm just gonna tell you that it was a trip for English majors.
Okay.
So that should tell you what kind of people I was with.
All right. Where was this at again?
Well, you was part of those people.
Yeah. But here's the kicker for the story, right?
Wait, where were you going? Where was it again?
It was in London.
Okay, yeah. Okay, London.
Yeah. So I do all of this. I go on this tour, I check in, I do all these things or whatever. And I was just like, I can't live in this hotel room. Like,
oh, in the hostel.
Yeah. So I went home.
Wait.
Oh, what?
You flew back?
Like the next day.
How long were you supposed to be there?
Dude.
Wait, this was a this was a school trip,
wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I can see him taking it, packing his bag, like, I'm done. I can't do this.
Did. Absolutely.
When was this?
Okay, well, I know not to travel with you.
Because he will leave. He will leave your ass there.
I was like, this is some bullshit. I'm out of here.
This was when? When was this?
This was like
last year.
2000 and no. This is like 2008.
Lord have mercy. You just left.
I did.
So
and
wait,
like,
did you fail?
You didn't have a good time? Hell no, I have a good time showering with my arms all over my head. Are you fucking kidding me?
So you were there a
so
day.
Did you fail?
Yeah.
The class? I did not fail the class.
He left it after one day.
I was there more than a day. It was like 18 hours.
That's not a day. How long were you supposed to be there?
Like 3 weeks or some shit.
Child,
oh my God.
He failed the class. He failed it.
He got up out of the classroom and just walked out and said, I'm dropping this course.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what child. The nerve.
Listen, but that's what hostels are.
Appropriate.
That's what hostels are, though.
I didn't know that shit.
I
never stayed in one before.
Have you never watched movies?
I don't know.
When they went to hostels?
I'm clearly not the kind you watch.
The reason I won't stay in a hostel is because I've heard of the movie Hostel and I hear that people die. So yeah, that's not gonna be
no. Listen, let me tell you something. There are some really nice hostels out there. I'll tell you about some when it comes back around to me in Iceland.
But isn't a hostel like? Don't you stay with strangers? Like if you're maybe not.
Yes,
absolutely.
So I'll explain it. It's not what you it can be, yes, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
It can't be.
Have to explain that because let me tell you what I'm not doing. Let me tell you the way my anxiety is set up.
I was in for like a really shitty time when I got there, and there was this dude. He looked like he was around 40, and he was like watching some British soap opera or something, and I was talking to him, and he was just like, yeah, that way up the stairs.
He said he ain't got the time. He ain't got time. Don't interrupt his program.
Yeah. TJ, what about you? Since Rex learns nothing from his travel experience.
I learned a lot.
He did. He learned he don't like
pack
hostels.
up your shit and go home.
Okay, quick, fast, and in a hurry. My God. Oh Lord. Well, my trips are not, or my stories are not as extravagant as y'all's because I ain't never been out the country yet. So I was truly struggling to find things to talk about. Okay, let me think. So
it's just out of town. It ain't got to be out the country, bro.
I know, but still. So
tell us about your trip to Alabama.
I've actually never. Oh no, I have been to Alabama actually. I was like, I've never been to Alabama. I have been. I went one time. Me and my ex went. Okay, so so Baton Rouge. So me and my friend Jonathan. So one day he was like, "Bitch, I want to go on a trip," and I was like, "Okay, where?" He was like, "Baton Rouge," and I was like, "Why?" He was like, "I don't know. I heard it'd be popping in Baton Rouge." I was like, "Well, okay, let's go." So, mind you, me and Jonathan, like, we used to like hit the town almost every weekend, and we would like cut up. We would be out. We would be drinking. We would be hollering at boys, bringing boys home. You know, whatever. Well, mostly me, but sometimes him too. So he was like, "Let's go to Baton Rouge. We'll spend a weekend in Baton Rouge, and we'll spend a weekend in Baton Rouge, and we'll just see what's going on. We'll go to some of the clubs or whatever." So we get to Baton Rouge, we go out. I don't know if we get there on a Friday or a Saturday. We go out on a whatever Friday night. Let's say it's Friday night, and we start hitting up a couple of clubs. We go to one club, and it was okay, and then we go to another. So as we're walking into this one club, there's this guy sitting outside, and he starts flirting with me, but he like he said something, or he may grab my hand or something, but he's showing interest. And mind you, I'm sure we had pre-gamed. We were already, a little under the influence. I think we had already come from another club, so we probably haven't been there. So anyway, I'm not interested in this man, but I'm flattered. So I say, "Oh yeah, thank you," and we head on inside. So it turns out that he is in a group with two other guys. The other two guys are already in the club. Jonathan and I, we're drinking, we're on the dance floor, we're hanging out, we're looking around, blah, blah, blah. So the other two friends end up coming up to us. One friend basically starts talking to Jonathan. The other friend starts talking to me. The other friend I am attracted to. So we talking, we all kicking it or whatever. We all end up leaving the club together. And so I'm more of a risk taker than Jonathan was/is. And so was it a sound effect or was that background noise?
I don't know what that was.
A sound effect.
Okay. So one day, so I think the guy that was talking to Jonathan was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go to this next spot. If you want to ride with me, you can." And I'm like, "Jonathan, go ride with him." I'm like, "Go get in this car. Go get in this stranger's car." And Jonathan's like, "Absolutely not." So we get back into, I think we're in my car, his car, I can't remember. But we end up going to the next spot with them. We hang out with them for a while. Then we go back to our hotel room. We had our rooms were right beside each other, thanks to Jonathan, because when we first checked in, I was going to be somewhere and he was going to be somewhere else. He was like, "Oh, absolutely not. We got to get rooms together." So we come back. We bring these guys back to the hotel room. And it's all three of us. It's me and Jonathan, and then these three. So the guy that was initially kind of trying to flirt with me, and then the other two. So we're all in Jonathan's room. We're all just kind of kicking in Jonathan's room, having a good time, talking, laughing, whatever. The guy that was interested in me, but I was not interested in, he's sitting on the couch right here. I'm sitting on the arm of the couch. The guy that I've been flirting with all night is sitting across from me. And I think Jonathan's here and the other guy's over here somewhere. So I'm giving eyes to this guy all night, but I'm also trying not to be disrespectful to the friend because I'm like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be in his shoes, basically. Like, if I'm sure it doesn't feel good that you're in this group of three and nobody's really into you. So I'm also trying to be nice to him and try to give him some attention, but at the same time, I'm trying to get some dick in this direction. So at one point, I think he kind of understands what's going on. This guy kind of understands what's going on, and he ends up like leaving out. So when he leaves, I'm like, cool. That's my cue to get let's get things popping. Let's get things going on. So let's go on and divvy up this crowd. Jonathan, you are in your room with your dude. I'm gonna go right next door to my room with my dude. So I get up and I'm like, okay, well, I'm about to go on and I'm gonna head to my room and call it a night, which is again my cue for dude to like get up, and he catches it immediately. He got right on up. And so he follows me back to my room, but Jonathan's like, wait, what's going on? What are you doing? I'm like, nigga, you can see how the chips are falling. Let's go on and get it popping. So yeah, so Jonathan always says like he was surprised that it went as easily as it was, like the fact that my dude knew when to get up. I was like, yeah, because he knew I was giving him eyes all night. He was giving me eyes all night. He knew what was up. So we get to me and this guy, we get back to my room, we play around, and that was pretty much it for the night. And you know what? Hold on one second.
Oh, sorry.
He can still control.
He can still do it.
Yes. Control. My last cotton picking nerves.
That was your sound effect for smashing.
Anyway, oh, was that what that was?
Yeah.
So that was that night, and then it turns out. So the next night, I mean not the next night, but the next day, Jonathan told me how it went with his guy, and apparently his guy, when he ejaculates, it goes everywhere. So he basically started calling dude Super Soaker. So yeah, we had fun with them. I think we tried to meet up with them the next night, but it didn't work out. But yeah, that was my story of Baton Rouge, like random trip to Baton Rouge, finding some interesting men, having a good time.
Unforgettable destinations. Let's just say
unforgettable.
Okay, so let's move back outside the country again.
All right.
I've had the pleasure of visiting Iceland 2 times over the course of I've
always wanted to go there because I always see like really cool pictures and stuff from there.
Let me tell you something. If you're a photographer, if you love landscapes, if you just love different seasons, Iceland is known as the land of fire and ice, and it will not disappoint you. You know, you can be in a blizzard 1 second, and then you can be, you know, in a green meadow the next. The first time I went to Iceland, it was very eye-opening. It was only there for 5 days. And at this point now, I started traveling. I had 2 friends that I traveled with, 2 other photographers. We always, you know, did these photography trips. And we had such a great time. We basically only we did the southern coast of Iceland over those 5 days. We were able to see the Northern Lights, which is a once in a lifetime thing. If you ever get a chance to see the Northern Lights, those dancing like gassy lights that you see in the northern sky, amazing. To be able to see with your naked eye, not just a photograph, there's nothing else like it. That was a great experience. But the second time I went was the ultimate adventure. I would say out of all the trips I've ever done with these guys, and we've always had really great adventures. We've done like RVs and, you know, driven through Yosemite. We've camped in Yosemite Park. We've driven to Utah. We've actually driven from New York all the way to Utah and back. We've gone through the deserts in Arizona. Where else? We've been through California. We've been through Oregon, Washington. We've actually driven up to Vancouver. Where else? There's a bunch of places, but the one that always sticks out is the adventure. The second time we went to Iceland, we were in Iceland for 12 days, and we did a road trip basically. So there's a road. It's Route 1, but it's called the Ring Road. It literally goes around the entire country of Iceland, and it took us 12 days to do it. We rented an off-road SUV, and we lived in that car for 12 days, basically on the road. In addition to that, we stopped at like every few days. So we planned the whole trip out before we left, and we mapped it out where we could get gas. Because the other thing too is like once you get off road in a lot of the places in Iceland, they're not like gas. It's not like major cities or whatever. You're like out in the wilderness. There's nothing out there sometimes for like you can go a whole day without seeing anybody. But what we would do is like we would spend like 3 days on the road, and then the fourth day we would stop at a hostel so we could get like a really good night's sleep, get a shower, and then have a good meal. And the hostels that we stayed at were actually pretty decent. When you look at them from the outside, they look like they're a lot of them like old converted buildings or whatever, or some of the newer ones are like they're built for that. It looks like a motel in a way. They have rooms. They have like single rooms, and they even have triples. So we got a triple room. It's just a room where they have 3 different beds, and then there's a shared. They have shared bathrooms and shower rooms in that corridor or whatever. Really nice sized bathrooms. Well maintained. It wasn't this experience. And then also they offer breakfast. You pay for, of course, breakfast, lunch, and dinner where you can get a decent meal. And we did that. But that was good to do that every few days just so we could get a shower because we were on the road for the full 12 days.
Right.
And we basically lived out the truck. We had a Bunsen burner. So what we did was when we first got there, at the airport, we picked up the SUV, went to the supermarket, but we knew where a lot of the places were because we had been there before now. So we know where to stop to get gas, to get to pick up groceries and stuff like that. And we had a cooler in the back, and actually we had a cooler on top of the truck. So all of our food was outside on top. So it was like a refrigerator. We didn't have to worry about the food going bad. And we had like real food. Like we even had like steaks and stuff like that. We would stop, find a spot that we could just like kind of camp on the side of the road or whatever. And we would light up the Bunsen burner, cook our meal. We would make coffee every morning. And we just lived off the land basically, and the other thing too, when you got to go to the bathroom, you go where nature is. There's no rest stops where you can stop and go to the bathroom. So one of the things you learn to do is there are certain things you can do when you're on the road. You have to have a little. We had a little hand shovel because they tell you when you have to do your number 2, you're supposed to dig a hole and then do your business. And there's certain types of toilet paper you have to use the biodegradable toilet paper. It's really, really thin, but you get used to it. You put it in the hole where you dug, you cover it up, and you move along. So, that was an experience, but there was something to it. Like there were days when we didn't see anybody. It was just us on the road,
Wait, who were you with?
2 other photographer friends of mine that I used to travel with.
Okay.
Yeah. And, there was one point where we went to what they call like the highlands. Most of Iceland, like there isn't any like paved roads, or all dirt roads with like little markings, little sticks to say that this is the roadway. And they're like few and far in between. Did that. You go off road. You have to, Oh, so wait, hold on. Rashawn's asking, how do you sleep? So the SUV is one of those big, like not really like a Escalade, but around that size. So the back seats we put down flat. Two people would sleep in the back, long ways, and then the other person would recline the driver's seats all the way back. So it was like you were sleeping in a recliner. So we would alternate taking turns. So not one person would be sleeping in the front driver's seat all the time. And then the other thing too is we all rotated. No one could drive more than 8 hours in a day when we were driving. We would alternate. So like one person would drive for like 4 or 5 hours, and then we'd switch up. The next person would drive, and then so how it works, the person who was driving would then go into the passenger seat. He would be the navigator, and then once you went to the back seat, you had to go to sleep. You had to sleep. Because if you didn't, then you'd be tired because you'd be the next person, you'd be the next driver to go after that. And all along the way, we're stopping at certain points that we wanted to photograph. So we had all the places. Like I said, this whole thing was planned out before we even left. So we knew where we were going, where we were going to be photographing. And a lot of times when we went to a spot, we were photographing for like hours at a time. We're shooting off the edges of waterfalls. We were flying drones. I mean, we did it all. We experienced everything. Like I said, I remember there was like a stretch of maybe about 3 days where we didn't see anybody at all. Nobody.
I have a question. So and this is for both of y'all, do you all not have, and if you do have it, how do you deal with it, a fear of traveling one alone and then traveling while Black in foreign countries? Because honestly, that's the thing that gets me.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I think the only times you should fear traveling Black is in this country. When you go overseas, it's not an issue. It was like Iceland. That's not even a thing. I've been to Dubai and the Middle East. It's not a thing. When I was in Thailand, it's not a thing. It's only a thing when you're here in this country. Okay. That's the only place where I've ever felt this discrimination.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if you're not doing anything trouble can follow you anywhere. I figure you can get in trouble anywhere. So like, I look at it that way. I also appreciate the fact that police officers in a lot of European countries don't carry guns.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. But for me, I think the only thing that I have really been afraid of is being in a place where I couldn't communicate. Like, so that kind of freaks me out. Like being.
You mean like language barrier, or?
Yeah, like not being able to say something, not being able to ask for like food or a restroom, or if I got lost, like trying to communicate to a person like how to get back to like wherever I'm staying. Like that freaks me out or whatever. But.
Well,
I haven't really been anywhere that I don't speak the language yet.
So here's the thing. The one thing with that, whenever I was going overseas to a country that I know that English wasn't the predominant language, I always made sure I downloaded a translate app for that country, and I would speak it in English and it would translate. So that was one way of communicating. And then also sometimes, the other good thing too, when you travel, make sure you know that you can get cell service. I mean, it's much easier now. Like I remember when we went to Iceland, we just swapped out our SIM card, and we were able to we had service throughout the entire trip, even like in the most remote places, we had cell service. That's really, really important because especially if you're out on the road just traveling, and you're off road, you're not in like a major town where there's like infrastructure. Like there's literally no infrastructure on a lot of the island. Most of the country was uninhabited. Make sure you have cell service. You have good data plans, and then you're always, just be aware of your surroundings. Yeah. But that, I mean, those are two really big major trips that I've always remembered, and I cherish them. And I always say I'll go back to Iceland again.
So I'm thinking about where I want to go next. So I have like this bucket list of places that I want to visit. Maybe you guys do too. So I was thinking maybe we could share that because I really want. I have like 3 places up next that I want to go to. I want to go to somewhere in South America. I'm not really somewhere reasonably safe. So I'm still researching that part. I also want to go to Barcelona, and I would love to go to Nigeria.
Okay. Well, I mean, I listen. I have a passport, but I ain't been nowhere yet.
Where would you like to go?
Oh, anywhere, everywhere. Honestly, I got I got my passport because I thought I was going to be on season 2 of The Circle, but that did not happen.
Girl,
is that because of COVID?
No, it wasn't because of COVID. No, it wasn't because of COVID. Wait, like that I didn't get on?
Yeah.
Oh no, I just wasn't selected. No, I
applied. That'd be interesting to be on that show.
That's exactly why they called me. So I got a call from a producer.
Negative.
And that they were like, so I did like a whole kind of a phone interview or whatever, and they were like, well, we'll let you know if you are if you were selected. The second I got off the phone, I was like, I gotta go get my passport because they film in the UK. So I was like, I gotta go get a passport. I wasn't selected, obviously. But that's the only reason. I got a passport. I just ain't used it. So I'm down to go.
Well, it's time to use it.
Somebody got to. Let's go.
I'm ready.
No, seriously, there are plans for me to go to the Maldives next year after I graduate. So, I know
that's a place.
I'm ready. Yes. Me and my best friend are planning this trip, and coincidentally, he actually wants to go to Iceland as well. So,
I would love to do that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get some stamps in it.
If you ever want to go to Europe, fly via Iceland Air because they have what they call stopover, where you're allowed to for the same airfare to go to London or Paris. You fly on Iceland Air. It will stop over in Iceland. You'll stay there for 2 days, and then you will continue on to your final destination. It's not anything. It's not an additional fee. It's a way to bring tourists to the country.
Oh, that's a good idea. The airline he's saying is Iceland Air.
Iceland Air.
Well, where do you have to be going to though? To do that?
Like anywhere in Europe.
I guess wherever they fly in Europe.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So okay. Well, if whoever in our audience is watching, we want to know what your bucket list destinations are. So leave us a comment so we can find out what's on your big 3.
So let me give you my big 3 that I haven't done that I want to do. One is I want to do a cruise to Alaska. I would love to go to South Africa, and then I definitely would love to go to Finland. And I know Finland is just like kind of random. I've had a fascination with Finland since I was a little kid. I actually did a school project. I think I was in like the 6th grade. It was on Finland, and I just kind of fell in love with the culture. So those are the 3 places I'd love to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Work.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, I'm down to go anywhere and everywhere. Yeah. So I'm trying. So it's just put me on a plane and I'll go. Now I will need a chaperone. Because again, I'm not doing it by myself. Not at first. I'm gonna need to. I gotta ramp up to going solo because I don't want to be trafficked. But yeah, I'm down. I'm down. I'm scared of being trafficked.
I promise you don't need to worry about that.
I am cute. Yeah. They will snatch me up as soon as I get off the plane. I may not even get off the plane.
Negative.
I hate that. We got to find a way to ban him from the sound effects. Honestly.
Oh my gosh!
I swear.
Guys. Anything else? Do we have any comments in the comment section? from the peanut
Brian said
gallery.
Nigeria. Brian said he wants to go to
Right.
Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah. But that is
Okay.
it.
Nice.
Work.
Well, see, I mean, travel is fun. I highly recommend it for anyone. Don't wait until you retire to travel. You know,
Yeah.
do it now. And people think that you can't travel on a budget. Yes, you can. The one thing I will say is travel with someone else. That cuts the cost in half. If you can travel with more than 2 people, even better. And that was one of the reasons why, like, I traveled with my photography buddies when we went to a lot of these places. It cut the cost tremendously, and we looked for deals. Like I said, doing the whole trip around Iceland, only doing hostels every few days, that saved a lot. We weren't doing it like really, really fancy in hotels and stuff like that. So there are ways to cut costs and to be able to see different places and experience it.
Sean says,
my bucket list. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna read. Her bucket list is St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, Paris, and Cancun.
Ooh.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, Rotan.
Have you ever been to the Virgin Islands?
I've never been to the Virgin Islands.
What that mean?
Oh.
I've been to Cancun. So Paris is on my list of places to go. We're probably going to do Paris probably next either spring or fall. I think it's going to be more like fall because Ronald wants to go to be able to dress and to wear the trench coats and, be enveloped in the fog and the cold weather or the cooler weather.
Like in a few months you guys going to go?
No, not this year, next year. Because we've got a few trips, few things planned this year. Nice. We'll be doing Mexico in August and September.
Come on, Mexico! I just want to go anywhere where I can do some good shopping and find some cute shit. That's the one thing I got to do when I go anywhere is I got to find.
I want to go shoot shopping in Paris.
Yeah.
To Paris? You've been before though, haven't you?
I haven't, but I will.
Oh, okay. You're going, right?
Yes.
When?
Yeah, he's gonna spend all his money.
In May.
Oh, he's gonna spend all the money.
Okay. You'll have a blast. You'll have a great time.
I hope so.
Let me know when you go, because I might send a coin or two your way so I can get me some stuff.
I sure will.
I'll
send you some bread in the mail.
I was gonna say, bring back a baguette.
Oh yes, give me some brioche
and a good croissant.
Yes, please.
All right, guys. Well, I think that about does it for this episode. Unforgettable destinations. We've kind of been a little bit all over the place. We've been local. We've been international. What?
I said that's our signature, all over the place.
True.
All over the place. All over.
Here, there, and everywhere.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We hope to see you guys again next week for another great episode of the conference call. But before we get out of here, let's let people know where they can find us. You can find me at constantly_changing for me on all my socials. Rex, where can people find you?
At the swap meet.
Not the swap meet.
Throw it back.
He said at the flea market.
No, not that throwback. Where can they find you, sir?
Oh, Rex speaks of Meg.
Oh gosh, got a hot mess.
I'm gonna remove him from the thing again. Bizarre Hodgepodge on Instagram, YouTube, all of those places. BZARHODGPODG.
Awesome, guys! Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to hit that notification bell so you can get notified when we go live.
Yes,
we
please.
Post stuff. So also, please, we are going to be posting the first part in the 3-part series of getting to know us and what our mission is behind doing this YouTube channel. So check out that drop will come, I believe, on Monday, and then we'll have the other 2 parts in the subsequent weeks. So until then, we'll see you again next week here for another edition of the conference call. Good night, everybody.
Au revoir.
What? No music tonight?
What'd you say?
No outro music? No outro music tonight?
Yeah, we gotta play our song. We're so trash.
Oh, come on.
Lord have mercy.
Horrible.
Production. Come on, production.
Now I will not fumble a bag. Fumble a bag. Now I will not fumble
Bye, y'all.